In this video, I will show you how to build a landing page in WordPress from scratch. You will learn how to design and build your own landing page in WordPress with this step-by-step tutorial on the process. You do not need any prior knowledge of HTML or coding languages like CSS, JavaScript, PHP, or any others. This video is brought to you by SeedProd, the #1 landing page builder for WordPress with over 1 million users. It features a drag and drop page editor that makes creating pages quick and easy for everyone. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos and learn how SeedProd can help create amazing landing pages for you. So in today's video, I'm actually going to create a modified version of the SeedProd webpage. So this is a common thing that people do with their businesses or their products or services. They'll have their main website page, and then they'll create alternative versions of that page and try to see if they can get it to convert better into sales. So I'm going to create a simple version of this page today. So the first thing we want to do is come over to your WordPress dashboard, and we need to install SeedProd. So you can head over to seedprod.com, or you can click the link in the description. I'm going to be using the Pro version today. So if you go ahead and click on Get SeedProd, you can set up your account to get the Pro version. Next, once you have an account, let's go ahead and log in. And on the left-hand side, you can enter your email address and the password that you used to create your account. Once you've logged in, you can go ahead and click on Downloads. And you can click on the big orange button here to download the plugin. We'll also need the license key here on the bottom left. You can click the little icon here to copy that. You can close this window for now. And next, let's go to Plugins and Add New. Let's go to Upload Plugin. And we can drag this zip file right here to choose file, or you can click on choose file and browse to the zip file on your hard drive. Let's go ahead and click on Install Now and Activate Plugin. Let's paste that license key right here and verify key. If everything was a success, you'll see a green message here. If you're using the same browser or similar, you can close this little tab at the bottom. Next, let's click on Pages. And down at the bottom, we want a new landing page. So let's create new landing page. And here are the templates that you can select on this page. But today we're creating a blank template. So let's hit the check mark for this and give it a page name. You can call yours whatever you wish, whatever makes sense for you. I'm going to save and start editing the page. So now this is the SeedProd page builder. So on the right-hand side, this is where we can visually see and build our page. And on the left-hand side, we have our blocks that we can just drag and drop into our page. So if we want a headline, just drag and drop that in. If we want an image, video, we just drag and drop those in as well. Now each block has its own set of options that we can modify to take full control over how our page looks. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over to the left, bottom left, and click on Global Settings. And I'm going to click on Colors. And this is where you can select your header, text, button, link, and background colors. If you're not good at picking colors, you can click on color palettes. And here's some pre-made preset ones that you can click on. So for example, if you have a blue color scheme with black, you could just click here and this would give you a good option to work with. So I already have a good idea of what colors I'm going to use in this template. If you're not sure yet, you can just go ahead and we can start building your page, and then you can worry about the colors after you're completed with your layout. So I'm going to go ahead and update these colors by just clicking on them and then changing them in here. So there we go. I updated the headers, the text, the buttons, the links, and the background colors. So you'll also see that once I updated the background, this was updated in the visual side as well here on the right side. Next, to get back to the blocks, I'm just going to click the icon up here in the top left. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a logo up top. So I'm going to click the single column here. So you can see there's multiple options to select from. I'm just going to select the one column. And I'm going to go to Image and just drag this block right here. And you'll see we have an image block now. If I click on the settings for this, you can see it asks you to choose your own image. And then we have some options here to modify it. I'm going to use my own image, and then I'm going to upload it into WordPress. So there we go. I have the SeedProd logo. And here you can add your alt text and your title. And then click Select. And there we can see that it's imported into the page. Now we can make some modifications. So for example, this is the section, and I want to change the background color of this. So I'll click on the options for the content, and I want a solid background, and I'm just going to change this to white. Next, I'm going to select on the block image here and go ahead and come down to the width. And I think I might change this to around 350 pixels. If you want to use percentage, you can switch to percentage, and you could do something like 35%. Just keep in mind, if you switch to mobile preview, that'll be 35% of a small screen as well. So you'd have to make a modification for that in mobile mode. I think I'll use a preset selection of 350 pixels, which if you switch, you'll see that that fits into that a little bit better. Okay, great. The next thing I want to do is add a second section. So if I hover over this section, you'll see a little purple add section here. I'll click, add my columns, and I want this to be 2 columns. On the left-hand side, I'm going to add a headline. And I'll add my text here on the left-hand side. And I'm going to align that to the left. And I'm going to change the font size to about 55. I'm going to leave this as an H1 heading. And that's good for now. Next, I'm going to come back. I'm going to add an image on the right side. So this will be a nice looking hero image. So I'm going to click on this and upload my own image. I'm going to go to upload files and select a file and select this. Underneath my text here, I want a button. So I'm going to drag the button over here and drop that here. You can see I already have the color set. These are taken from my global settings that we set earlier here. So my button is yellow. You can see that this is yellow here. I'm going to modify the block and update my text. And to get a full width button here, we can actually select the alignment to the full width alignment. And you can see that goes to the full length of that column. Next, I want to add an icon. And I want the icon to be after the text. So I'll click the after text icon and choose icon. When selecting icons, you can do a search if you want. So I want to add some type of arrow. So I'm going to do a search for right. And I'm going to use a little finger pointer here. I can just click on this. You can see that was entered into my button after the text. So we can also add a link to this page as well for the button. So I'm going to come over to the SeedProd pricing page, and I'm going to select this link. I'm just going to enter that into here. So we'll link directly to the pricing page for SeedProd. And now that I have a little bit of text on the page, I'm going to update the fonts under the global settings. So I'll go to global settings, fonts. I'm going to update these. I'm going to go with Nanito. And my headers, I'm going to set a little bit more bold to bold 700. For my text font, I'm going to change this to Roboto. And I think that looks good. Now I think I want my image a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go under here to resize my columns. And I'm just going to drag this over a little bit. And I also want to add a little bit of spacing here. So I'm going to select the row here and go under advanced and spacing. I'm going to uncheck this little link here because if I edit this, it's going to edit all 4 sides. And I don't want that. I'm going to uncheck this and I just want to modify the top and the bottom. And I'm going to add 50 pixels above and below. The next thing we want to do is add a vertical alignment so that the text is in the middle of the image. So we can click the column settings for the left column. On the bottom hand side here, you'll see this middle one. So once I hit that in the middle, you can see that that now aligns perfectly. I'm also going to do that to the right side as well. Even though the image is the full height, I'm just going to do that just in case. And one thing I'm going to do for this section, I'm going to go under section settings and go under advanced and border. And I'm going to create a solid style border with a border color that's orange. Uncheck this and set the top to 5. And you can see we added a little bit of a top border here. All right, let's go ahead and add another section here. And I'm going to add columns. And I'm just going to add a single column. I'm going to go ahead and add a headline. I'm going to edit this block and update the text. I'm going to change this to an H2. I'm going to move to the advanced tab. Under typography, I'm going to come under and I'm going to underline this and close. And I'm going to change the color to the darker gray here. Now to make this pop out a little bit better, I'm going to make the whole section here, not the row, but the whole section. I'm going to change the background color to white. I'm going to come back to my blocks and I'm going to add a row of features here. And I just want to tell potential customers what kind of pages SeedProd can actually build. So I'm going to add a column block right underneath here. And I'm going to make this 3 wide. So 1, 2, 3. And next I want to look for the icon block. So I can do a search here as well. And I just want this simple icon. I'll drop it in here. And I also want the text block. So I'll drop that right underneath this icon. And we can update this. So in the text block here, I'm going to put sales page. And I want this to be centered. And I'm going to change the font somewhere. Let's put 20, just so it's a little bit bigger. Also notice that this is bold in here. You can unbold that or bold single pieces of text or lines. The icon itself, I think I want to have a different color. So I'm going to change the color of the icon to this orange color. And there seems to be some spacing around the icon and the text. So I'm going to go under advanced spacing. And I'm going to put 0 for padding. And you can see how that got rid of a little bit of that. Same thing with the text here. Advanced spacing and 0. Once you're happy with the style of this, I'm going to duplicate this block. I'm just going to move this over here. And same thing with the text. And I'm going to do that again. Great, so I actually have 6 of these that I want to show. So I'm going to create another row. Instead of creating all of this from scratch, I'm just going to duplicate the row here. And now I have another one. I'm going to select this second row here and go under advanced spacing and top margin because I want a little bit of space in between here. So I'm going to put 50 just to break that up a little bit. While we're here, we should also go to the settings for the section, go under advanced spacing And I'm just trying to be consistent with my spacing here. So I'm going to change all of this to 0, unlink it, and the 50 top, 50 bottom, same as what we did with this section up here as well. I'm also going to add the border. This is going to add that orange border that we added up top. I'm going to add it to the top of this section. So border color, orange, unlink this, and on the top, we just put 5. So now we have a border color on the top of this section right here, and then this white section, we have a top border as well. So now our hero section looks like it's got one on the top and one on the bottom. So now for each one of these, I'm going to update the icons as well as all of the text. So there we go, I updated all the text, and you can see the icons are somewhat related to the actual text itself. So coming soon page, I put a clock. Maintenance pages, we add a little broom here. The 100 plus templates, it looks like a little template icon here. So you can see how they're a little bit related. All right, we're doing great. Let's continue on and add another section. And this is going to have 2 columns. So let's go ahead and add the even 2 columns here. And on the left-hand side, I want to add an image. So what we're going to create are 6 different sections, just like this. So an image on the left, text on the right, and then vice versa. And it's going to break down some of the features of SeedProd. Before we get going, let's go ahead and add our padding on our section again. So advanced spacing, and we'll add 0, unlink, and then the top 50, bottom 50. We'll also go ahead and add that border again to the top, the solid color, and the top of 5. In our left column here, we have the image. Let's go ahead and upload our own image that we're going to use again. And once you've selected it, let's enter that into the page. On the right-hand side, I'm going to add a headline and some text. And I'd like to left align these. And I'll just go ahead and update the text here. I'm going to change the font size for the heading to 25. And I'm going to change this to an H3. And I'll go ahead and update the text for the section. And there we go, that looks good. I think maybe that could be a little bit bigger though, so we'll go ahead with 20. Same thing is up top. We're going to go to our column settings here, and we want to do a vertical line to make sure that that aligns with the graphic. And I'll do that with the graphic as well, just in case. Something that I want to do is have the text stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to select the column settings again here and go under advanced and spacing. And I'm going to add a little bit of padding here. I'm going to add, let's say 20 to all sides. And the background color I'm going to change of the whole column here, this whole right side. So we have our background color here, and I'm just going to select something that's just a little bit off from that, just so it sticks out a bit. Under border, I'm going to go ahead and add a border radius. Now this will give it rounded edges and rounded corners. And I'm just going to do something low, around 10. Next, I want to come back to my blocks and select column. And I'm going to add a second section here. I'm going to go to the row settings, go to advanced, spacing, and 50. Now we're going to create the exact same thing here. And you might be wondering why I didn't just copy this, duplicate this, and change it. It's because I had some settings on the column, and it might just be just as quick to create a new one from scratch here, because it is really quick to work with SeedProd. So I can go ahead and just do this. And then I could duplicate, for example, this section, or this block, and this one as well. And then we can add the background color to the left side here. So we'll go under the column settings, add a background color, add our spacing, which is 20, and then our border radius of 10. And then lastly, I'll add my image and update my text here. And then just for my column settings here, just make sure that those are vertically aligned in the middle. So now I have 6 of these sections. So now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this below here, add my top margin of 50. And now I can just go ahead and replace the image and the text. You don't have to recreate the whole thing. And then my fourth one, we duplicate this, and then it just goes back and forth until we have 6 of them, or however many you're creating. So I'm just going to fast forward the video just so I can go ahead and create these a little bit faster so you don't have to watch it all. All right, so there we go. I've added 6 sections here, and it lists all of the benefits, or the 6 main benefits of using SeedProd. You can see we have fast loading, bloat-free pages, the different types that we can create of pages, the opt-in, sales, thank you pages, no design skills are required, how we can collect leads, and creating a landing page in minutes with no coding required. So we have all these great sections already set up. All right, so we haven't seen a call to action in a while. We have the button up here. It'd be cool if we added another one down here to break up this section. So we'll add another section to try to get people to click through. So something I want to do is reuse this button, probably in a few places. I'm actually going to go ahead and save this block. I'm going to call this call to action button. And I'm going to save the template. If you come back to your blocks, go to the bottom, you'll have a section called Save Blocks. You can open this up, and this is where it will appear. If you don't see it, go ahead and save your page and just refresh. Now try again and come back down to the left side. Open this and you should see it now. What I want to create is down here at the bottom. I'm going to create another section, and this is going to be 2 columns. So I'll go ahead and click this. And on the left-hand side, I want to have a headline, and I'll just update the text here. And I want this to be left aligned. And for the font size, I'm going to put this somewhere around 30 and change this to an H3. On the right-hand side, I want to add that button. So I'm going to come down and get my saved button and drag this over right here. Now the sizing doesn't look very good here, so I'm going to go ahead and click Resize Columns. And I'm just going to drag this over until it looks good. I think somewhere around there is good. So we have this sentence, and then we have the button right beside it. Now I'm going to select this whole section, the settings, and come under background and background color. And I'm going to go with orange just to make this really pop out. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Now I didn't forget about the spacing here. I just think it looks good just how it is. All right, next let's continue on and add another section. And this will just be a single column. And I want this section to be a white background. So I'll select the section, change this to white. Next, I'm going to add an icon up top, and I think we'll create a FAQ or a frequently asked questions section. I'm going to add an icon, and I'm not sure if I showed this yet, but you can search for blocks. So icon, and I'll just drag this right down here. I'm going to change the icon and look for a question right here. We'll go with the solid background one, and I want this to be quite a bit bigger. We'll go with something around 80. I think that'll look good. On our section, let's not forget, we'll add our padding. So under advanced spacing, we'll change these to 0 and then uncheck 50 top, 50 bottom. And let's come back to our blocks. I'm going to add a headline here, and we can't see that because it's white text. That's fine. We can just update this under advanced, go to color. I'm going to go with this grayish color, and I'll go ahead and update this text. Under the advanced tab, spacing, I'm going to put some spacing on the bottom of this because I'm going to have the questions underneath it. And I just want there to be a little bit of space between these. So let's go back to our blocks. And we're actually going to use the accordion block for our FAQ section. So this is what will actually have the questions and answers inside here. So we'll have one after another where people will be able to open and close them. Let's go ahead and click on the block settings. We can see the options on the left-hand side. So I'm going to delete the second question here, and we'll just work on the first one until we have the design and everything looking good how we want it. I'm just going to update the text for the first question, who should use SeedProd, and then my answer. Now we can see that, question and answer. If we scroll down the font size, I'm going to put this up somewhere around 20, a little bit bigger. And the space between we'll put to around 20 as well, which will be the space between the questions. Let's check out the icon. I think the plus and minus is fine. I don't think there's anything I want to change here. I think I might actually want to put it on the right side, just so it looks like there's a defined width on this, because if you have it left, everything's kind of aligned to the left here. So that kind of looks a little better to me. Next, let's go into the advanced tab, and we can update some of the colors here. Let me just open this so we can see everything. The header color, I kind of want that to pop out a little bit more, so let's go with something darker. And when it's open and activated, I want it to be orange. So when it's closed, it'll be black, and when it's open, it'll be highlighted to this orange color. The background color, I want this to be kind of just a faint gray, just so you can just barely see that there. Right around there is good. And we can't see it yet, but there will be a divider color in between each question. It'll just be this line that goes all the way across. So here, I'll go ahead and add a second question. And there you can see that it's this dark line right now. So let's go ahead and change that to a light gray as well. If you don't want to see that at all, you could just change it to the same color as your background. So it'll be disappeared there. We'll go with something like this. Also, I think I'll come back to the header typography. And I'm just going to bold this just so those stick out a little bit more, just the questions. So there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and update all my questions and add those into the accordion right here. All right, so there we go. I added all of my questions that you can see here. And when I open them, you can see we have the highlighted color. We have the divider in between that's a light gray, the icon and the title change. And it looks great. It's easy to browse, easy to read. Everything looks nice here. All right, let's create one more section here. This will be our footer section with a call to action. So let's go ahead and create another column, and it'll be a single column with a headline at the top. So I'll drag this right down. And again, let's add those spacings on the top and bottom. Spacing, change it to 0 on link, 50 on the top. And the bottom doesn't really matter. We can put 50 there, but it's not a big deal. And our border up top, let's go ahead and add that solid border color, which is the orange. Unlink this and add it to 5. And there we have that section border to the top of this. For this headline, I'm going to update the text. And I'm going to change this to an H2. And underneath my headline, I'm going to put a little bit of text here. We can update this and center that. And I just want to change the color here under the advanced tab and colors. Let's go with white, or even a light gray here is fine. Next thing I want to do is come back to our blocks and go to my saved blocks. I'm going to add this nice call to action button. Now I don't want it the full width, so I'm going to go under my settings here. And the first thing that I want to do is center this. And I'm going to make this a 2 times large button. So this is our footer call to action. I just really want it to stand out. Come under advanced, we can change the vertical padding and the horizontal padding to take a little bit better control. Vertical, this is the height. I think it's a little bit too high for my liking. And the horizontal, I'd kind of want it to come out a little bit more. So we'll go to 70 here. I also want a little bit of padding. I want this to kind of step out from the other elements here. So I'm going to put 50 just to keep with that number, 50 on the bottom. There we go. Got nice spacing around that. And lastly, I just want to add an image right to the bottom here, just something that really pops out and breaks this section up. I'm going to upload another image for the footer and select this. There we go. We have a nice big image that kind of breaks up the footer and people can see another example of what they can build with. So there we go. This is our completed page from scratch that we created. This is an alternative version of the SeedProd website. So I just want to show you a quick way because it's important that you optimize your website for mobile. So right down here, we have the mobile preview. So if I click on this, we can see that some of the features here are a little bit big. So for example, this headline is a little bit big for a phone. So what we're going to do is actually duplicate this. I'm just going to show you how you can modify this. So duplicate, and now we have a second version. And I'm going to take this and go to the block settings. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so it looks good, and somewhere around there, and I'm going to align this to the middle. So we have 2 different versions here. So this will be the version that we show on desktop, and this will be the version that we show on mobile. So let's go ahead and we'll select this block and go under advanced and device visibility. And I want to hide this big one on mobile. This will show on mobile. This one will not. So let's do the same thing for this block. Go under advanced, device visibility, and we want to hide this one on desktop, so it's the opposite. So when I switch back and forth, you can see that this one is visible, this one is not. This is just a preview to show you that there is a mobile element there. This doesn't actually show on the page. When I switch, you can see how those switch. So this one is now grayed out, and this one will show on the mobile version. All right, so let's just go through a few more options here, and then we'll save our page and we'll publish it live. So under the Connect tab here, this is useful when you use an email opt-in. So we don't have any on this current page, but if I drag the opt-in form in here, we have a form that people can sign up with their email address, and then you can collect these and add them to your lead email list or your newsletter or whatever you have. You can also connect this right here to your favorite third-party email marketing service. So for example, if you're using MailerLite or Constant Contact, you can just hit connect and you can create an account with them and then connect your new account by using the API key that they will provide you. Once you have that API key, you can just connect this, and then all of your email and contact info that you collect will go into that service where you can manage it there. Lastly, we have the page settings. So we have general, SEO, analytics, scripts, and custom domains. So under general, we have the page title, page URL, so you can change this to whatever you wish. We have the page status. Right now we're just in draft mode, but we can also publish that right here when we're ready, or you can publish it here. You have the SeedProd link that you can show that it's powered by SeedProd. This will be a little button link in the bottom right-hand corner. And if you join our affiliate program, you'll get a 20% commission on all sales generated from that link. You can just paste that right in here and save. You'll have an isolation mode. This will prevent conflicts with your theme or other plugins. And your Facebook app ID if you're using any Facebook features on your landing page. For SEO, we highly recommend All-in-One SEO. This is the best search engine optimization plugin that you can get for WordPress. And the same thing with analytics. Monster Insights is fantastic, and I highly recommend that you check that out as well. If you have any scripts that you need to paste into your header or your body or your footer, you can add those things here. And lastly, we have our custom domain. So if you want something shorter, for example, we have this full URL. You can actually hook that up to your own custom domain, such as mynewdomain.com. When they visit that, they'll actually be redirected and they'll see this landing page. So if you want to see more information on that, we have documentation to show you how to do this. All right, let's come back to our design. Make sure you're happy with absolutely everything. Let's go ahead and save this and click here and publish the page. Let's go ahead and see the live page. And there we go. We can see we have our header with our logo. We have a call to action here with a hero image, our headline text with our button here. If I click through, this goes to the pricing page. If I come back, we can come down. You can see the features that they can see, what kind of landing pages people can create. The features here are broke down with a little bit more information, which looks nice. We have this call to action section, which breaks up the page, and it gives us another opportunity for people to click through. We have some FAQ questions here if people are curious and they have specific questions. And then finally, our nice big footer call to action where they can click through as well. And I just want to show you quickly here. We did the mobile preview here. Just so you believe me, I'm going to switch to inspect mode. And if I click the device here, this will be responsive. So if I have the full width, you'll see the big headline here. If I make this small, you can see how that changes to the smaller one with the centered alignment. Now that you know how to build a landing page in WordPress from scratch, maybe you would like to check out this video on 11 types of landing pages guaranteed to convert. This will help give you great ideas on the types of landing pages to create with SeedProd next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.